What the freak is up, everybody? I got my soundboard out today, so y'all are in for a treat. But today, I hope you're all having a great week. I'm sorry it's literally taking me forever to get another podcast episode out because cut me some slack. I'm a college student. I was so busy in October. I had many a thing going on. Dude. I was gonna record my podcast like many weeks ago, and then I forgot. And then the week after that, I was on a trip in Colorado, and then and also, mind you, both of the editors were also on this trip with me. And then the week after that was Halloween, and then the week after that is this week, and it's just like, dude, I'm a busy gal. So, but here we are, and I'm excited for today's episode because this is a very big interest of mine, and I'm excited. But yeah, I hope y'all been having a good past few weeks. I hope midterms, etc., aren't kicking your trash too bad. And to start off this episode, that is, obviously you've seen the title, it's about local bands and stuff. So what better CD of the week than one by a local band? CD of the week has got to be Fighter by World Record. Maybe I'll talk about this show that I went to, but I was at their album release show of this album, and it's so good. It has don't quote me on this, it has 10 or 11 songs on it. It's very much Alex G coded, but it's so good. I love World Record so much, and I love this album so much. I have the CD, but I haven't listened to it in a minute, but I was thinking about it today. I think, hang on, let me hang on. I really like, I don't know if I can pick a favorite of the songs on the album, but I really like the first one, Scarecrows. I really like that song. That one's really good. Also, of course, I really like Fighter. Ooh, Patrick Riley Must Die. That one is gaseous. That one's so gaseous. And there's a secret one. There's a secret song on the CD that's not on the album on Spotify. It's called Karen. That one is also really good, but you can only listen to it if you have the CD. So I'm just cool like that. Anyways, yeah, I love World Record. I'll definitely be talking about them. But yeah, so today's episode, I'm talking about local bands versus concerts. And forgive me if I get really pressed about this topic because, mind you, I've only been to 3 big time concerts. Where it's where it's a bigger artist. That being Faye Webster. I went to Faye Webster last year in October, and then I went to Panchico this summer, and then I saw Strawberry Guy this past month. Well, and I mean, if you count the Flaming Lips that I went to in September, that one was kind of big, but it was not as big. But I'll still count it. And what's funny is that every single time I go to a concert, I'm like, this is my last one. Because here's the thing, okay? Riddle me this. When you go to a concert, right? I don't know about y'all, but I go ham in the artist's discography before I go see the concert because I'm like, I want to know every single song that they're playing. You know what I mean? And so I did that with Faye Webster and Panchico, and after I went to their concerts, I barely listened to any of their stuff. I swear I'm not a fake fan, but I don't know. I think, I guess maybe the experience just ruined it for me. But I went for Faye Webster, right? This was at the Union, I'm pretty sure, in Salt Lake. This was October 3rd, 2024. And I went with my friend, right? And, you freaking go to these stupid concerts and you try and get there as early as you can, especially if it's a general admission concert. You have to get there as early as you can, otherwise you're not going to get a good spot. And so we showed up at least an hour and a half early. And of course, the line is already 3 blocks away from the freaking venue. And also, everyone is like a teenager, and they're all dressed the same. And I probably will not be stating the exact outfit that they're always wearing because I don't want to offend anyone. But everyone is dressed the same, and you're already standing there for an hour and a half, right? Or even longer, depending on what show you're going to, right? And then you get into the freaking venue, and you have to stand there for another hour to wait for just the opener. And then you go to the merch stand or whatever, and then you have nowhere to put your merch because they won't freaking let you take your bags in. and you can't bring in your water bottle, but I understand that part. But like sometimes you can't even have a bag. You can barely even have a camera. And then you buy the overpriced merch, and then you get yourself a spot, and you're standing there for another hour, and it's hot and it's sweaty, and there's a million people around you, and there's always some 6'5" guy that decides he needs to stand right in front of you, and your feet hurt the whole time. And then it's like, even when the opener comes on, it's at least another 45 minutes until the main act. At the Faye Webster concert that I went to, during the opener, I can't remember who it was, but they were really good. However, in the middle of their set, people were passing out. Like, people in the crowd were just passing out, and then, like, all the people around them would be like, yo, like, this person needs help, needs help. It didn't make any sense. And it was also just, like, it was so hot in there. Like, that day at the Union, it was just, but then again, I've never been to the Union more than once. But it was so hot in there, and I wouldn't be surprised if people were just, like, I don't know, overheating or something, and, like, or locking their knees too much. But, like, there was at least 2 or 3 people that passed out during the opener set. And so the security people had, like, those little plastic water bottles, and they literally started chucking them into the crowd at people. Oh my gosh, it was so insane. And then since they weren't getting far enough, and they would just, like, pass it, and then it wouldn't get far enough, like, to the back of the crowd. And so they started unscrewing the caps on these little water bottles and passing them so that people wouldn't chuck them. And then they eventually just passed an entire pack of these little water bottles through the crowd. It was so insane because I feel like this situation probably could have been avoided if they just, like, I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't work for these management people. But, like, it was just, I felt so bad because the opener, like, quit, like, finished her set way before it was done just because so many people were passing out. And then, like, Faye Webster came on, and then it was fine after that. Like, no one else passed out while Faye Webster was on stage because you can't be caught passing out during Faye Webster. You're gonna miss it. But yeah, the thing is, like, don't get me wrong. I love Faye Webster's music. I know the words to so many of her songs. But when you're in a dark room full to the brim of people, and you can't breathe, and you're 5'3", and you can't see, and your feet hurt, and your hands are sweaty while you're holding your freaking merch because you have nowhere to put it, like, it makes the experience bad because everything except the music sucks. And so, like, when I'm, like, incredibly overstimulated and, like, everything hurts. Oh, and also, by the way, you're starving. In this situation, you're starving as freak because you've already been standing near this facility for probably 3 or 4 hours. And so, like, when I'm overstimulated and I'm hungry and I'm sweaty and my feet hurt, I'm not enjoying myself. And it doesn't freaking matter how euphoric the music makes me feel. If every other factor makes me hate life, I'm not going to enjoy myself. Truth be told. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. But yeah, Faye, I love Faye Webster, you know. She was great. She put on an amazing show. I was a little weirded out by the Minions stuff, those who know. But, like, it was cool and it was good. But I did not have a good time because, sure, it's awesome to see some of your favorite artists live, but it's just not worth it. Like, for me, like, the experience is just not worth it. And even though that was my first concert ever, by the way. Not, like, show, but, like, it was my first official big time artist style concert, you know? Something that I paid more than $20 for a ticket. And I remember leaving and being like, yeah, that's my last one. This is the last time I'm going to a first and last concert for me. I'm gonna be honest. And then this year, obviously you can tell how much I hated it because I didn't go to another actual concert until middle of June this year. And that was June 23rd this year, 2025. I believe it was at the Complex. Don't quote me on that. I really don't know the names of the bigger venues in Salt Lake, but it was Panchico. And oh my gosh, I love Panchico so much. But again, all of the same parameters, like, you're standing for such a long time. At least no one passed out at this one. Thankfully no one passed out at this one. But also, not to be like a hater or anything, but the leftover merch from that specific show sucked. Like, Panchico's merch that they had left over, it was just bad. Because I know that everyone at their other shows during their tour probably took all the good stuff. But, like, yeah, the merch wasn't that great. I liked the poster, though. I got the poster It's like green and yellow, and it has like the anime girl on it and like all their tour dates. It's pretty cool. I like that. And then they were also selling stickers and patches, which I thought was really cool. I love when bands do different kinds of merch compared to other people, because usually it's like a vinyl or like a sweater and then like a poster and some stickers, and there's not really much uniqueness when it comes to that. But I like that Panchico had patches because I've never really seen that from a bigger band before. But yeah, and the music was great. However, the only thing that's difficult with Panchico's music is that you can't understand and know all their lyrics by listening to their songs 100 times, because there's just like so many other instruments and sounds going on in their songs that you can never be 100% sure what the lyrics are. And also, I'm not trying to go out of my way to learn the lyrics to every single one of their songs. Just letting you know. I don't care. But like, yeah, it's just it was good though. There were people moshing. There were people moshing at Panchico, and they were like, "Are you guys alright?" Because they're freaking British. Dude, how did I not know? Sorry, I hope I'm not peeking the mic. But like, how did I not know that Panchico was British? Riddle me that, bro. Did you know that Panchico was more than just one guy? But yeah, they're freaking British. That's crazy. They came all the way from the UK. All the way from the UK. That's crazy. But yeah, since that concert in June, I honestly don't think I've listened to any of their songs since then. Maybe death metal, because that's like, everyone always hears that one. But I haven't really listened to any of their music since the concert. Truth be told. It's a little bit sad, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, and at the Faye Webster concert, I did get some of her merch, and it just had a bunch of Minions on it. And I was like, how did she get the rights for this? And also, I wonder how much money she's having to pay DreamWorks or whatever. Who made the Minions? I don't freaking know. I wonder how much money she has to pay Pixar or whatever to use their little creatures. Anyways, this past September, I got to go see the Flaming Lips at the Ogden Amphitheater, and I don't know if I would consider that like an actual big time concert. Maybe I would, but that one was probably my favorite of the bigger artists' shows because I had a press pass, which was so awesome. Oh my gosh, I could talk about that, but that's not for today's episode. But I had a press pass, so I got a VIP, so I was able to be like in the front, and I've never been able to be in the front at a show before, and so it was so awesome. And Citrus opened. I'll be talking about Citrus. I love Citrus. But Citrus opened for them, and then it was Pawpaw Rod, who I believe was a touring band. I can't remember where they were from, but they were really good. Pawpaw Rod was really good. And then the Flaming Lips came on, and it was so insane and like visually overwhelming because they had like 12 or 13 inflatable things. They had inflatable robots, inflatable aliens, inflatable eyeballs, inflatable lips, an inflatable sun, a giant inflatable rainbow, and they also had this giant balloon that said F yeah Ogden Twilight, because it was the Ogden Twilight Festival. It was so funny. Yeah, it was so awesome to get to take pictures for that. And I feel like that's part of the reason why I enjoyed it so much, is because I didn't have to sit super far in the back, and I was able to see most of it, which was super awesome. But my feet did hurt, but there weren't nearly as many factors that were pissing me off compared to the other big time concerts I've been to. And then the most recent one I've gone to was Strawberry Guy. It was October 21st this year. It was Strawberry Guy, and he played at Kilby Court, which was very interesting because I feel like he's a big enough artist that he should go to a bigger venue for sure. And I'll tell you that much, because if you've ever been to Kilby Court, it's literally a shed. Like it's literally just someone's freaking garage. But that's what makes it so interesting, because it's literally just a garage, but so many prestigious artists have played there before, just because it's kind of like, I don't know the word for it, but it's just like a special relic of a place, you know? But I'm surprised that Strawberry Guy decided to play there. It's very small. I would say it's maybe like 40 to 50 feet by 30-ish feet. Don't quote me on that. I'm not good at distances. But like, it's not very big. It's like the size of a kitchen and a living room, you know? And so And also, I don't know how many tickets they sold, but it was definitely at least like 100. And trying to fit 100 people in that small of a room is crazy. I was there on behalf of the radio station, so I was the only reason that I was able to go there was to take pictures for the station, right? When there's 100 people in a little teeny tiny room, and I'm not there for the artist, I'm there for a separate party. It was really difficult because the room was chock full of people, and I also didn't want to maneuver through all these people, and so I just I felt bad, and I felt like everyone every time I tried to move around someone, I felt like they were just thinking, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you in their mind. But that's probably just my OCD talking. But I was super worried that all these people were gonna be mad at me for trying to move around and get good pictures. But I was trying my darndest to be respectful, because I just needed to get 1 or 2 good pictures, and I think I did, but I don't even know if I got that many good pictures. But Fontaine was the one who opened for Strawberry Guy. She's really good. She only had a piano. It was just a piano, and it was just her. And she said that she usually has more people with her. But it was really interesting because I've never really heard any of her music. But I think it's cool that it was just a piano. And I'm pretty sure that her actual music isn't just a piano. And something that was really cool, Strawberry Guy said that he got his name from Hers, the band Hers. He said he's friends with those 2 guys, and then he played, I believe it was What Once Was. He played a cover of that song for them, and I was like, dude, oh my gosh. I didn't know that he was friends with them, also because I didn't know Hers was British either. But it was really interesting. I didn't know that they had a connection, but that's really cool. But again, even though it was so awesome to see Strawberry Guy live, and he had a 4-piece symphony play with him, and it was 2 violins, a viola, and a cello, I believe. They all played next to him, and he was on keys, and oh my gosh, the music was so amazing. However, my only purpose in being there was to get some pictures. And so when that was really, really difficult for me to do, and I didn't want to maneuver through all these people, and I couldn't really get any good angles, it made it harder for me to enjoy it, which sucks, because the music was so good, and I couldn't just I was struggling to be in the moment, you know what I mean? But it was still really cool. The thing is, I never want to see Kilby Court with more than 50 people ever again. Because Kilby Court is just I'll get into this, but it's just so much better when it's a local band, because you freaking have room to move around. Anyways, but yeah, after that show, I was like, this is my last big time artist. Unless Radiohead or the Foo Fighters come to Utah, maybe I'll consider it. But anyone else, don't care. Actually, maybe, let me think. Who's someone that I would kill to see live? Witch's Hat. Guys, I would kill to see Witch's Hat live. You have no idea, dude. Witch's Hat, please come to Utah. Please come to Utah. I love you. But yeah, now I'm gonna get into the local bands. This is my time to shine. I love me some local bands. First and foremost, I went through my camera roll and a lot of these bands' Instagrams and stuff to see and remember how many shows I've been to. And I wrote it down in my notes app. I want you to guess. I want you to have a little guessity guess. Okay, how many shows do you think I've been to just in 2025? I'll give you a minute. To guess. Have you got it? That's your alarm. Anyways, it was 35. 35 local shows. Well, not just local, but 35 shows that I've been to just in 2025. Let's do the math here. 12 divided by 30. Oh, wait, no. I'm doing that wrong. I'm not gonna. 35 divided by 12. That is almost 3 shows per month. And 2025 isn't even over. Wait, let's do it. Let's divide it by 11 instead, because it's November. Or maybe even 10, because we're not that far into November. Let's see, 35 divided by 11. It's still 3. Anyways, Yeah, don't ask me how much money I've spent at local shows because most of them are minimum $10 to get in. And I've bought a fair amount of local band merch. But hey, I'm supporting local artists, okay? You can't freaking blame me, all right? I'm doing them a favor. They need the press, you know? That's why I never feel bad for gassing up local artists because they need it. Oh, speaking of gassing up local artists, one of my favorite bands at the moment. I have a whole list here. This is in no particular order because I love all of them equally. That's what they all say. Backhand. Dude, holy cow. If y'all have never been to a Backhand show, you must invest. Not to like toot their horn, but they have a show November 14th. If this comes out before that, you should pull up because dude, they better be so glad these bands better be so glad that I'm giving them free endorsement. But I'm just that kind of girl, you know? I love them so much. But I love Backhand. I've been to so many of their shows. I had never listened to their music until like earlier, like this past spring, because they played at. Oh wait, no. I saw them earlier than that because they played at Fellowship Hall in Salt Lake, and I was only there for like a couple of their songs, and I thought it was so funny because most of the time they open their set with "We're Backhand and we're the greatest rock band of all time," and I remember hearing that and I was like, okay, pretentious. But then, like, I was only there for a couple of their songs, and then I ended up leaving. But then I saw them again at KWCR Fest because they played for us at KWCR Fest, and oh my goodness, that was like probably top three favorite moshes I've ever been a part of. It was so amazing because at KWCR Fest, it was Backhand, Vaseline, the band, Citrus, Leveler, Mopsy, Pool House. Is that all of them? 6? I could have sworn there was another one. Well, and I guess you could count Colin Muir too, because he was the DJ. But yeah, dude, holy cow. That lineup at KWCR Fest was one for the ages, for sure. And that Backhand mosh, oh my gosh. I yearn for the pit at every Backhand show. I brought my banana costume to KWCR Fest, and I put it on in the pit, and I was moshing in the pit as a banana. It was so good. It was so good. I love Backhand so much. But yeah, they played at. I should have written more of this down. Let me think. I think my favorite Backhand show was probably. Ooh, wait. Okay. I'll definitely be talking about this one. They played Under the Bridge. There was a prom show Under the Bridge in Provo. This was. I have the exact date. Let me find it. They played Under the Bridge in Provo. Where'd it go? I was just looking at it. Oh, May 31st. It was a prom show. It was like formal dress. So like everyone was wearing like dresses and ties. And it was Vaseline playing, Melancholy Club, Backhand. I think there might have been another one, but I can't remember. But yeah, that one was probably one of my most favorite shows. I'm not going to lie. I took the freaking front runner down there for that show. And because it was like right next to the train station. And Vaseline was first. Shout out Vaseline. They're rebranding soon. They're not breaking up. They're just rebranding. Our boys would never break up. But it was Vaseline playing, and then right after was Melancholy Club. And then what's funny is I'm pretty sure that was the last Under the Bridge show because Backhand was like had just like barely set up, and they were like about to play their set, and the freaking cops showed up. And they were like, "Shut it down, guys. Shut it down. Let's end it right here." And everyone in the crowd was like, "Boo, boo, I smell bacon. I smell bacon." And so Backhand, like, they didn't even get to play their set. And so we were like, one song. And then, I don't know if they asked the cops if they could, but they played one song anyway, and you best believe that was the best song of the whole night. Some dude had an acoustic guitar, and he was holding it above the crowd and, like, moshing, and you could see the guitar moving around, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's not good. That thing is gonna get ripped from his hands. But it was so good. It was so good. Nothing fails to get me riled up like Backhand, dude. Holy cow. I'm like their number 2 fan, basically. Other than like, nah, I'm their number 1 fan, actually. No, ain't nobody a bigger Backhand fan than me, bro. Another one of my favorite little bands is gonna be Citrus, bro. Dude, y'all need to invest some time in Citrus. I've probably, other than like probably Unseen and like Vaseline, I've talked to Citrus the most, I think, and they're just so down to earth. Like top 3 best dudes out there. Jupy, shout out Jupiter, dude. He's the lead singer, lead guitarist. I love Jupiter so much. He works at Starbucks. Who would have thought? I ran into him on accident one day while I was at work, and he was at the freaking window, and I take my sunglasses off and I go, "Jupy?" And he was like, "No way." And it was just so funny. I also met Citrus because of KWCR, because Citrus played in the Fishbowl earlier this year, like March time or something like that, and it was super awesome. And their music is just really upbeat, and I love it so much. And then their drummer is Jace, and he's quite the character. I hope he's like not giving himself concussions or like brain damage or anything, because he headbangs so much whenever he's playing drums. But I don't know. It's definitely it's giving him character. So I don't mind it, because I love the energy. I love the energy of Citrus. And then the guy who plays bass, his name is Jack. Shout out Jack. He's also in another band called If and When. I'll talk about If and When. But Jack is super cool also. I think I've been to probably, I don't know, at least 5 or 6, maybe 7, maybe 6 or 7. Maybe 6 or 7. Maybe 6 or 7. Maybe 6 or 7 of Citrus's shows. But I love Citrus so much, and it was so awesome to see them play to open for the Flaming Lips at Ogden Twilight. They've played many shows at Black Lung Society, a few shows at Kilby, a few shows at the Boiler Room that I've seen them play. Actually, no, I haven't, but I know that they've played at the Boiler Room. I don't know if I've seen them play at Fellowship Hall, because that one, Fellowship Hall, is kind of like an emo venue. I told them this after the show, but they hated it that I told them that. I think it might have been their most recent show. They played at Kilby Court a month or 2 ago, and I told them that was my favorite show of theirs ever, because it was even better than the Twilight Festival, because at the Twilight Festival, like, you could tell that they were like pissing in their pants nervous, because I don't blame them. Like, if I was playing at the Twilight Festival, I would be terrified. But when they played at Kilby Court, it was so good. And like the lights were going crazy. Like, I don't know who's in control of the lights, but they were going crazy, and like Jace was going crazy, Jupiter was going crazy, Jack was going crazy. Jack never goes crazy. But that's why it was so awesome, because all 3 of them, they were just like in their element, bro. And you could see it. And like you could tell they were having fun, and you could tell, like, I don't know, they were just way less nervous than they were at the Twilight Festival. And so, and I talked to them after the show, and I was like, dude, that was my favorite one. That was my favorite one of all your shows. And Jupiter was like, shut up, you're lying, like, no freaking way. And he was like, you gotta tell the guys. And I was like, what do you mean? And then I went up and talked to them, and I was like, dude, that was your guys' best show. And they were like, dude, you're freaking joking. Because they were like, they thought it was bad, because they were like, I don't know, messing up chords or something like that. Or they just thought that they were doing stuff wrong. And I was like, no, dude, that doesn't matter. Because, like, chances are none of your listeners, no one that's there knows how to play your songs. So if you play them wrong, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know that you're playing it wrong. Because what the audience sees is the entertainment. You know what I mean? They see your energy. They see, you know, the looks on your faces. You know what I mean? And so a freaking viewer couldn't care less if you're playing stuff wrong or whatever. It's what matters is that we can tell that you're having a good time. That's what makes a show good, is when the band looks like they're having the time of their freaking life, because that's what matters. You know what I mean? To be fair, one of the main reasons that concerts piss me off so much, and why I love local shows so much, is because there's so many things that local shows have that big time artists and concerts lack. And that's purely just because they can't have that good of a connection with their fans. You know what I mean? At concerts, there's no community. No one's really dancing. They're all just kind of standing there. They're looking at the artist. Maybe they're singing along or whatever, or they're filming on their phone. And that's it. They're not really moving that much. Maybe they're bobbing their head. It's really annoying because it doesn't look like anyone's enjoying themselves. But when I go to local shows, there's so many people dancing. There's so much movement. And when there's less people, I don't know what it is. For me, at least, when there's less people in a room, I feel better doing whatever the heck I want than when there's 500 people in a room. And so when I'm at local shows, I feel like I can do whatever the heck I want and no one really cares. Because it's true. It's weird that when there's less people, it feels like no one cares that much. But when there's more people, I don't know. That makes sense, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, it does make sense that that's the case. However, I just love local shows so much because there's just community, you know? And when you're moshing too hard and someone falls, everyone picks them up. Like, people take care of each other, you know what I mean? And, like, you can talk to the band after the show. It's so awesome. And you can talk to them and you can say, I love your stuff so much. You guys are so cool. And it's just, like, there's an overwhelming sense of camaraderie that you can't get at a concert, because when you're at a concert, no one talks to each other. And if it's a bigger artist and you're talking to other people that are around you, a lot of times they're like weirded out and they don't want you to talk to them. And it's like, dude, you're at a freaking concert. You came to the concert not to talk to people, not to meet people, because you're obviously not going to be talking to the band. So, like, I don't know. It's just, it really irks me. And I just don't feel comfortable every time I'm at a big time concert. Like, every sign points to, I hate this so much. But that's why I love local shows so much, because I can talk to the band and I can talk to the other people that go there too, because a lot of times there's other people who are also going to a lot of shows by the same band. And so it's really easy to make friends at these shows because you see people a lot if you're going to multiple shows and you have like the band in common. And if you don't, like, you can talk about other ones that are your favorite. And it's also a really great way to get new music too, and supporting local people. It's amazing. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. Moral of the story, I love you, Citrus. Another band that I love so much that I mentioned is If and When. Funnily enough, most of If and When went to my high school, and they were seniors when I was a sophomore, and they played it like the school talent show, and they were good even back then, dude. I remember they were good. And then I've only been to like 2 of their shows this year, 3 actually, yeah. And they played this summer at like Canyon Glen Park or whatever, and it was, oh my gosh, dude. Oh my goodness. They got all this fancy gear. And like, it's just so good. Like, their music is so good. Oh my goodness. They released a new single, I'm pretty sure, this summer as well. What was it called? I don't remember what it was called. But they released a new single this summer. And it's so good. It's so good. I love If and When. They also played at the Hags Festival with Backhand. That show was amazing. That Backhand show was amazing. And so was If and When, dude. It was at Kilby Court. Ooh, so good. So good. So I know Luke is, I believe, the lead guitarist. And then Jack, who's also in Citrus, he's the lead singer of If and When. And I think he plays guitar. And then they have another dude. I think his name, oh shoot, I don't remember his name. I'm gonna be honest, but he plays bass. Holy cow, this dude shreds. This dude shreds on bass. Let me freaking tell you, dude. He's so good, and he has like a really fancy bass too. And he plays so good. And then their drummer is Gordon. He plays drums. He's super awesome too. Yeah, Jack, Luke, and Corden, they all went to my high school. Back in the day. They're all super cool. I've talked to them a few times too. They're all really cool, and their music is perfection. It's so good. They played at Velour like a month ago. I don't know, like 2 months ago. They played at Velour, and I feel like that venue is such a good venue for If and When, because like all the decorations and everything totally fits their vibe. The only thing I don't like about Velour though is, again, I've only been there once, so like this is just off of one experience. But, like, no one was really dancing that much. That's got to be, like, one of my biggest pet peeves is when I'm at a concert or a local show or anything, and people are standing there with their arms crossed staring at the band. Like, dude, if you're going to go to a show just to listen, You can listen at home, bro. You go to a show to experience, bro. You go to a show to dance. You go to a show to have fun. But if you're sitting there in the corner, like, dude, just go home. Like, if you're not gonna come and have fun, then don't come at all. That's just me, though. Like, I don't blame people, though, because sometimes it can be pretty overstimulating. I don't blame people for sitting in the back just because they want to hear it live. But, like, I don't know. Enjoy it. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I love If and When. Another band. This is probably the band I've been supporting for the longest. It's got to be Unseen. Unfreaking seen, dude. If you guys are listening to this before the 14th, they're playing in the Fishbowl at 6 p.m. Listen to it live. But I love Unseen so much. I think the first time I've ever seen them play was summer 2024. They played at the Slam Music Festival. That was also, Calico also played there. But yeah, Unseen played at the Slam Music Festival, and it was really good. Oh my goodness, it was so good. I know Unseen because one of my good friends, her boyfriend is in Unseen. And so, like, me and her went to the Slam Festival and stuff. And so I got to see their stuff for the first time, and it was so awesome. And then I think they had another show that year, but I didn't end up going. But this year I've gone to a ton of their shows, and I love their music so much. They have an EP out that I think it came out this year. It's really good. It's only like 4 or 5 songs, but it's really awesome. And I'm pretty sure they're making new music too. I'm excited. But yeah, I love Unseen. They have such a good vibe too, because it's 3 girls, 3 girls and a really cool dude. And I love a mostly girl band. Shout out women in STEM. I love women in STEM. But yeah, they have their drummer is Mia. Shout out Mia. I love Mia. And then their keyboard girl, that's Trinity. She also plays bass too. She recently started playing bass, which is so freaking awesome. And then Abby is the singer. And then Gray plays guitar. They all shred, dude. Abby shreds too, but like vocally, but not like emo shred, but like she's just like so good. You know what I mean? I love Unseen. I love Unseen so much. I'm probably actually Unseen's number 1 biggest fan. Other than Gray's girlfriend, obviously, Savannah. Other than Savannah, obviously. But I'm their biggest fan that's like not necessarily in relation with them. But I love Unseen so much. Ooh. Next band. I hope this podcast isn't too long. I apologize if I'm just gibbering and jabbering, because this one isn't as like... This episode is a little bit more off the cuff than my last one. But that's just because it's kind of hard to not talk about local bands and stuff off the cuff. Because it's not like... It's all subjective, you know what I mean? These are all my opinions, but these opinions are correct. Next band I want to talk about is Vaseline the band. Dude, they're freaking rebranding. They're changing their name in December, and there's going to be like a funeral show in December. It'll be so awesome. I'm def going to that. But I love Vaseline so much. They are, like I said, they're also one of the bands that played at KWCR Fest. And that was the first time I had ever seen them play too, or ever like heard their music, And it was amazing. Amazing. They are so cool. Just a bunch of little teenage guys, but their music is really good. Let's see. Brady. I know Brady because, funnily enough, Brady is the drummer. I met him and the whole crew at KWCR Fest. And then I went to this place, this little cafe thing in Ogden, because one of my other friends was like, they have live music there, and one of my other friends was playing music. And so I went there, and freaking Brady was behind the counter, and I was like, wait a second, aren't you the dude from Vaseline? And he was like, yes I am, I'm the dude from Vaseline. And then I was just like talking to him with my friend and whatever, and he was like, you guys could like apply to work here. And I was like, what? And so I talked to the owner, and I basically got the job on the spot. And Isaac, who's the bassist for Vaseline, he also worked there. And so like I became buddies with Brady and Isaac from working there. And then like I've been going to a ton of their shows for a while. And Matt is their guitar. I think he plays guitar. Yeah. He plays guitar. Matt plays guitar. And then Logan also plays guitar. Matt is like kind of the lead singer. And Logan is like backup vocals, I guess. But he's also, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But they usually both have a mic. And yeah, they're all super cool. But like Brady and Isaac and Matt, actually all of them, like they all moved away for college because they graduated high school. And so like they're like all over northern Utah now. But they're still getting together to play shows, so I don't mind. But yeah, I love Vaseline so much. Their music is amazing. Their pits are even better. Their mosh pits are so awesome. And I'm low-key like their hype beast. Because every time I go to their shows and people aren't really moving around, I get them moving. I'm good at that. But yeah, I love Vaseline. Also, another band that I haven't seen much from them lately. That's going to be Windsock. I love Windsock. Take a shot every time I say I love blank. But I love Windsock. Their music is it's really hard to explain because there's just like, it's kind of like emo-ish, but there's just so many tempo changes in their songs that it's like you can't tap your feet or bop your head to Windsock because there's just like so many things going on at the same time, and like the beat always is changing. But I love Windsock so much, and they haven't really had any shows lately. Like, I haven't seen much from them since the summer ended. I'm hoping to see more, not gonna lie, because I love Windsock. But yeah, I went to quite a few of their shows over the summer. They played at the Boiler. They also played a few times at Fellowship Hall. I don't know these guys super well, but like I've seen them play quite a bit, and I love their stuff. Another one that I recently started getting into is Dane Kane and the Ghouls. I saw them at a show, at like a house show in West Jordan, and immediately on the spot I was like, yup, I'm converted. Like, I love their music so much, because the thing that got me was one of their songs. I'm assuming it's called Dr. Pepper, yeah, or something like that. But they had people shotgun Dr. Peppers while they played Dr. Pepper, yeah, Dr. Pepper, yeah. That's probably my favorite song of theirs. It was really awesome. And then I saw them play at Kilby Court a couple months ago. And what's funny is that I saw Dane Kane and the Ghouls, right, at that house show, and I was like, this band is awesome. I'm taking them home. Not literally. I'm taking their music home. Don't get the wrong idea. But I saw the Dane Kane at the Panchico concert. And he was like in the line. And I was walking past it, and I pointed at him, and I said, Dave Kane and the Ghouls. Because I didn't know if it was Dane Kane or Dave Kane. And I freaking called him Dave. And then I walked away, and then I remembered that I did that, and I was like, oh shoot, his name is freaking Dane Kane. He's gonna think I'm crazy. And then I went to his show at Kilby Court, and while he was on the mic, and he's like, we're Dane Kane and the Ghouls. Someone called me Dave. My name's not Dave. And I was like, oh, that was me. And then I talked to them after the show, and I was like, hey, I'm sorry. And he was like, it was you. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you Dave. I swear I'm not a fake fan. I'm sorry. But it was really funny that he remembered that I was the one who called him the wrong name. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I love that kid. I promise I'll never do it again. But yeah. Next band I've already talked about is going to be World Record. I've only seen them play live one time. But that's because, I don't know, I guess they just don't, they haven't had many shows in the fall. But I saw them live around summertime-ish. I don't know. I went to a lot of shows during the summer. But I saw them at their album release show for the Fighter album. Ooh, it was so good. Because what's interesting is that, like, the CD, like, or just, you know, the album when I was listening to it not live, it sounded way more like Alex G than when I saw it live. Because, like, live, they didn't have someone playing keys, but it was still really good. Like, their music is so good live. And again, like, I was able to talk to the band, and their stuff is really, really good. And what's funny is that, like, I was at, I believe it was a Windsock show a few weeks before I was at the World Record show, and there was just some guy, like, in line for the merch table for Windsock, and I was like, you getting the Windsock merch? Yup. He was like, I love Windsock, and I was wearing Songs by Jonas merch, which is the lead singer of Windsock. His name is Jonas, and his solo project is Songs by Jonas. And so I was wearing that merch, and he was like, dude, I have the same shirt, but in red. And I was like, dude, why the heck didn't you wear it? You're a freaking fake fan. And he was like, I don't know, like, I just like, didn't wear it. And so, like, I picked up the Windsock merch, and then I was kind of talking to him just a little bit at the show. And then I go to the World Record show, and lo and behold, the lead singer of World Record was this dude that I was talking to at the Windsock show. And I was like, what? He's in a freaking band? And then, yeah, I was talking to him after the set, and I was like, dude, your guys' music is so awesome. Like, I'm going to buy a CD. And he was like, yeah, like, thanks for coming. And yeah, he's super chill. His name is Elliot. He's a #G. I think one of the other dudes in the band, I think his name is Sam. I think another guy's name might be Jackson. Don't quote me on that. I can't really remember because this was a while ago. But they're all super chill. They're all super chill dudes. Yeah, and I got their CD, and I think it might be in my car right now, but it's really, really good. I love World Record. They have a show on the 21st that I'm going to, November 21st. And then I think the last band I'm going to talk about is going to be Ivy Avenue. They're really good. They've played quite a few shows with Unseen, and their music is super good. They have, similar to Unseen, it's like 3 girls and 1 dude, and they're all really good. I can't remember what he plays, but the guy's name is Gibby. Gibby! Gibby! And then the lead singer, what's her name? I think it's Cass. She's super cool. Super, super cool. She has a great voice, too. And the drummer is also super awesome. And the other person plays guitar, I think. I don't know if he dyed his hair again, but he had, like, really cool, like, blonde and brown, like, raccoon-style hair, and it was super dope. Yeah, I really like Ivy Avenue. Their music is super, super good. I've seen them play at Kilby Court probably 2 or 3 times. But yeah, I love local shows more. I just love local shows so much because, like I said, there's just a certain sense of camaraderie that you can't get from bigger artists. And it's also really awesome when you get to physically go and talk to the people, because I'm sure you guys are aware, a lot of big-time artists, they seem super cool, and then people talk to them, and then they're, like, super rude and, like, a crappy person. And that's why people say never meet your heroes. But, like, local bands, like, most of the time, don't get me wrong, most of the time, they're always super chill. Because if you're a local band and you're not, like, a big-time artist, you don't really have an excuse to be pretentious and mean. You know what I mean? But then again, like, it's just so awesome when you can talk to the band and they're, like, super cool people. It makes you want to support them even more because you're like, yes, I love these people, and they get word of mouth. Yeah, it's just super cool. Shout out to all my G's, all my local bands. Y'all are amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. And I hope you guys go to more local shows because it's really just a great place to be, you know? And they're super cheap. Like, almost every show that I've gone to has been less than $20. There's always cool people there, you know? And a lot of times they have really cool merch, too. I love me a sticker. I love me a band tee, if you will. I love me a local band tee. But yeah, the environment is just super awesome. It's really nice getting to know people and just to let loose a little bit. You know what I mean? Anyways, I hope I didn't talk y'all's ear off. But can you blame me? I love local bands so much. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys are listening before the 14th, Unseen is playing in the Fishbowl live at 6 p.m. I'm going to be interviewing them, and then they're going to play some songs for us afterwards, and it's going to be super awesome. But yeah, that's about it. I don't have any more announcements. I'm hoping to get more episodes out to you guys. Sorry. I'm sorry. Have a good rest of your however long. Peace.